Khan Academy volume, we're working on the subtopic volume as area of base times height. So Hafiz is building a rectangular prism. The base of his prism is shown below. The height of his prism is 3 units. So all they're doing this time is kind of making us do that volume equation. They don't want us simply just counting the squares all the time. So we're going to remember that volume equals the length times the width times the height. Okay, and they're just showing you part of what he is building. So our length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our width is how far back it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then our height right now in the picture is 1. But that's why it's important that we read, because they tell us that eventually the height is going to be 3 units. He's just not done building yet. So 3. So then I'm going to do my math. 6 times 5 is 30. And then 30 times 3 would be 90. Okay, so his volume is going to be a total of 90. Okay, now the question here though says how many more cubes does he need to complete his prism? Well, right now he has 6 times 5 cubes, so he has 30 cubes in this first layer. So if we are going to build another layer and another layer on top, okay, that's 30 cubes in this first layer, so the second layer would be 30, and the next layer would be 30. So he's going to need 60 more cubes. Okay, so our total amount of cubes is going to be 90, but he already has 30 here. So 90 minus the 30 that he already has will give us that he needs 60 more. The base of a rectangular prism has an area of 8 square meters. The height of the rectangular prism is 5 meters. So again, we're going to look at this and say, okay, well, I see that word volume. I'm looking at volume, so I know that I'm going to do length times width times the height. Okay, and they told me that the base of a rectangular prism, they told me that the area is 8. Well, they actually helped us out here because area is length times width. So they told me that if I did length times width, I would get 8. So they figured this part out for me. So because area is length times width, and they said the base has an area of 8. So we know that whatever L times W is, it's 8. And then my height, they told me, is 5. So they already solved the L times the W for us. We just have to take that area that they did and times it by the height, which is 5. So 8 times 5 is going to give us a volume of 40. Pat used unit cubes to build a rectangular prism with a volume of 32 cubic units. The height of the prism is 4. So what figure could be the bottom layer of the prism? So we know that the height is 4. Okay, so I don't think I can write on multiple choice. Nope, so I'm going to kind of get rid of that. Okay, so ignore my bubble here. I didn't mean to fill that in. I was trying to see if I could write. So let's find out if this was length times width. So length is 2 times width, which is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. And they told me the height is 4. So 4 times 4 is 16. So that's not going to be, they want a volume of 32. That's not going to work. So then I'm going to try this one. The length, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then if my height was 4, 8 times 4 is 32. So this one would work as my base. Now I am just going to double check and make sure that C doesn't work to make sure I didn't mess up something in my math. So length, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And then if we did 12 times 4, that's going to give us 48. So that's not going to work because they want a total of 32. So again, they're really just testing to make sure that we know that that volume equation is volume equals length times width times height. Okay, last question in this section. Gene is creating a rectangular prism. The base of his prism is shown below. He plans to have a height of 5 cubes. Okay, so volume equals length times the width times the height. So our length is 1, 2, 3 times our width is 1, 2 times the height. Now this is where you have to make sure that you read the problem. If you went straight to the picture, you probably would have put the height as 1. It's not. The height is going to be 5. And it says, what will the volume of the completed figure be? So how many cubes total will it be when he's done? 3 times 2 is 6, times 5 is 30 cubic units.